G'day, ZiggyD here, and welcome back for part 4 of the Path of Exile Survival Guide. In part 3, we defeated Mervale and cleared Act 1, and we're now into Act 2. But why are we back in Act 1's town? Well, that's simply because after logging out, if you don't make it to the Act 2 town, you actually get teleported back to Act 1. So we're going to go back here, go into the waypoint menu here, and select the Southern Forest waypoint here. And then we're going to progress into the town for Act 2. Now, Act 2 is a very interesting zone, and the way you clear it is actually pretty, I guess I would say unintuitive. It takes a bit of experience to know the optimal way to clear the zone. So I'll be able to help you guys with that. But let's just clear through the forest here, or the Southern Forest as it's so been renamed recently, and we're fighting off a bunch of monkeys. So our poison arrow works pretty nicely in here. We just keep running through the zone. These larger apes here will call down the smaller apes from the trees. So it's pretty good. It's a pretty nice place for experience actually, and you can sometimes farm a few levels in this zone in higher difficulties if you need to, if you're feeling a little bit under leveled. And the only risk is that if these monkeys do surround you, so if you kind of wait around and get a big batch of them surrounding you, you can kind of get stuck. You can't exactly run through them, so it's a bit dangerous. You want to make sure that you're not getting yourself caught into a corner, you're not getting backed against some trees or something like that, and just keep working these guys down, try not to get surrounded. If you're going a pure evasion sort of build, this is actually pretty dangerous because lots of small hits are kind of the weakness of pure evasion builds. Now, you'll notice a lot of gems are leveling, and that's because I had like split arrow and things like that sitting in my inventory. That's actually bad. You should level all gems possible, really, because having these gems higher level at endgame is going to give you more options. You can do them, or you can even sell them, like a level 18 or 19 gem at endgame if you've just been leveling the whole time just because. Can actually be worth a bit of currency, so worthwhile trading. So I'll just make sure to kill off all of those blue monkeys there, and we'll go ahead and level all of this stuff. We've got Burning Arrow to level, we've got Fire Trap to level. Fire Trap's pretty effective against these guys too. You can throw that down, use your Poison Arrow, using the excellent AoE here. I had a few questions as to why I was using Poison Arrow over Split Arrow. Some people found Split Arrow to be very effective, and I would agree, Split Arrow can be very effective if you find a decent bow. However, using Poison Arrow allows you to just use whatever old short bow you find, just something with high attack speed. The fact that we have lightning damage is really a non-issue, and still be fairly effective. The other thing is, at the beginning of the game, Split Arrow only hits 3 targets, whereas Poison Arrow can hit as many targets as can fit into that area of effect. So we did manage to get a level, and we're also going to continue leveling up these gems. We're going to continue leveling up Hatred. We can probably just get rid of it. We probably won't use Hatred in this variant, because I'm going to be using the Blood Magic variant of this build, which probably won't use up any auras in the end. Now, we are indeed coming across here. I'm going to grab the thick skin nodes next, because this is 18%, 8%, 8%. We're going to make sure we grab any good life nodes as we can as we head through our build. Now, I've just now uploaded a explanation of the passive trees for this build, so if you're a little bit unsure of where to head in the future, go and check those out. I'll make sure to link it in the description below, and it'll also be in the playlist for this series. So, we can talk to all these guys. These guys just give us lore, nothing too exciting. I'll just go ahead and clear all these. No real need to do so, but it does give you the quest. So as you can see, we've got the Intruders in Black, the Great White Beast now, and we already have the Way Forward, which is a quest that we got from Act 1, interestingly enough. So, as you can see, Act 2 is pretty interesting. Whereas Act 1 was pretty much a straight line with a few little offshoots, Act 2 actually splits off in 2 different directions. Now, this makes a very interesting sort of challenge for you in how you want to clear the act. Now, essentially, this zone here over to the right and this zone here over to the left are the same level sort of zones. Like, these are all very similar levels, left and right. So, if you go all the way to the left and clear out everything on that one side, and then go over to the right, you're kind of going to be losing some efficiency in these earlier zones, since they are lower level. You want to always be farming content, clearing content that's as close to your level as possible. So we have a certain methodology for clearing Act 2. We head right first usually, and we go ahead and grab the waypoint in this second zone here. We'll probably also do the side quest in here as well. And then, instead of clearing out the rest of the right-hand side, because there's actually a lot more zones over here, we're gonna come back to town, and we're gonna head left and do the quests in that side, and gonna get the waypoints in that side. So we're gonna kind of go branch off in 2 separate directions, and then do a little bit of that, and that's the most efficient way to go ahead and clear Act 2. And that's just something that people have discovered after doing plenty of races and competitive events in Path of Exile. So first up, we're gonna go into the Old Fields. Now, the Old Fields is kind of just a transitionary zone. It's basically just a straight road that hooks around and eventually leads to the outside, but we're actually going to be looking for a cave here that represents a side quest. Now, I just want to put, after we kill off these monkeys, I just want to point off this mob here, the stone golem. These guys will roll on you and they do quite a bit of damage. They also have quite a bit of life, so it's a good idea to, you know, just try and keep your distance from those guys, or just try and avoid their rolls. I'll see if I can get him to actually roll on us if possible, just to demonstrate for you guys. We're going to keep trying to demonstrate things on this. They also hit pretty hard themselves. But it looks like he's not willing to roll on us, so we'll eventually see that, I'm sure. Now, continuing along the road is the way to go if you just want to continue through this zone and get to the next zone. But we're going to be looking for this side quest area. So we're going to continue farming through here. Just killing off of these monkeys as we go for some easy XP. As long as you keep the monkeys behind you, they're pretty easy. As a melee character, you want to might clear them out a little bit more carefully. Unless you're a high armor character. If you're a high armor character, the monkeys really aren't too much of a threat, because they hit quickly, but with small amounts of damage. Now, this is an interesting point. In Path of Exile, armor kind of works a little bit interestingly. Let's say you have something like 50% armor mitigation. That's not going to always mitigate 50% of incoming damage. It will probably mitigate 50% of incoming damage from very, very small attacks like monkey punches. But if a golem hits you, that's going to deal a lot more damage and it's going to penetrate through your armor. Your armor is going to be less effective, essentially. The best way I've thought of to describe this is imagine you're wearing full plate mail. You are a full iron or steel warrior. Someone tries to stab you with a knife. It's not really going to do much damage to you. It's just going to sort of bounce off your armor. However, if you are wearing full plate mail and a wrecking ball hits you, you're probably going to die. Full plate mail isn't going to help you much against a wrecking ball. You're just going to get crushed. And it works exactly the same way in Path of Exile. Kind of realistic. I kind of like it. It's a very interesting mechanic, but not immediately obvious to new players. So hopefully that helps you guys out. So the difference is between armor and evasion. Evasion's great for avoiding big hits because you take 0 damage from big hits, whereas getting mobbed by a lot of smaller creatures is a little bit of a risk for these characters, for these evasion characters. And then on the flip side, armor is really good against taking lots of small hits, or lots of medium hits even, but against those big hits it's going to penetrate the armor and it's not going to do as much to help you out there. So in the zone, these spiders really don't do anything. They're kind of just like monkeys. They're mechanically not really any different. I guess they resist lightning would be the only difference, but that's really not a major concern at this point in the game. So I'm just going to be keeping them, making sure to not getting surrounded, of course. I do actually need to keep an eye out for types of gear. Composite bow is not good for us because it's low attack speed and we're still using poison arrow. We don't need to upgrade our fast, so we'll just continue along. Now, we should be able to head up here. We've got some more monkeys. We'll clear these guys out. This sort of zone heads off in multiple different directions as well, so you kind of just have to explore it out until we find the Great White Beast, which is the enemy, the zone boss we're seeking to destroy in here. So we've got a few cave beasts. These guys hit pretty hard, so be a bit careful with those. You know, as I said, with armor, these guys will break through your armor pretty good because they do a fair bit of damage. But it looks like we're not off in this direction, so we'll go ahead and head back. Just make sure to kill off these guys for some extra XP. There's a bit of a group there. So you see, you know, I've got a lot of life at this point. We've done a pretty good job of getting just rudimentary life gear. You can see how just having some gear with life on it makes a huge difference in the early game. If you're struggling a lot in the early game, you probably really haven't picked up any life on your gear, or you haven't picked up any life passives on your skill tree. The ranger note start area is pretty good, and we managed to pick up quite a lot of life in the early stages of this build, which is really nice. Makes this nice and tanky, which is the whole idea. So I've got some blue monkeys here. I'll make sure to clear these guys out. We go ahead and use some fire traps on these ones. I do want to go ahead and upgrade my flask here on the first slot because it's oh, there we go. Perfect timing. So we do want to upgrade that because that's actually falling behind a bit now. That's an old Act 1 flask that we got, so we want to go ahead and upgrade that. Oh, we might have desynced. Now I want to show you guys something. If you are kind of shooting something and it's not taking damage and you're not sure what's going on, or you're taking damage and you're not sure what's going on, press enter, type /OOS. And that will kind of resync you. It looks like I wasn't out of sync, but you notice some things jumped around. Basically that tells the server to resync your client and the server. So if you're having any desync issues, you can just type that in. I don't think we'll be able to wear a copper plate. We don't have enough strength yet. But what's our strength looking like? 14. Yeah, we're not going to get any strength anytime soon, so I won't bother with that yet. We can just run evasion gear for now. Evasion gear works pretty well in the early game. And we're not too concerned. Mostly life is your main defensive stat right at the very beginning of the game. You don't really need to worry too much about mitigation like armor and evasion. It's nice to have some of it and to keep updating your armor where you can, but life is the most important stat. And then probably after that, resistances, which I'll talk more about when it becomes an issue. This particular zone here, we don't really need to worry about resistances, and we don't really need to worry about resistances for a few other zones, probably in this episode as well. I did manage to get surrounded by monkeys there, not very good, try and avoid that. And we've killed off most of these guys. Now, the reward we're actually getting from this quest that we're doing here, and the reason we're doing this quest, because it is indeed a side quest, we don't need to do this quest, is because we get a rare belt from it. We have a choice of rare belts. Now, since we only have a blue life belt, it's actually a pretty nice life belt. Yeah, it's okay. It's got some resist, it's just got high base life. We're going to go ahead and do this quest and get a life belt if we can. So, this guy, you know, you use your single target attacks or use your AoE skills, it's fine. Just keep your distance. He hits hard, but he's only really a challenge to melee characters. But as you can see, we've still got pretty good life. If I sit here and tank him when he actually hits me. See, we take a fair bit of damage, but you've got enough time at this point in the game to back off and use a health flask if you're paying attention to your life. You notice I am not taking damage sometimes when he swings, and that's because we're currently based on evasion primarily. We have a few pieces of evasion gear. Like this strapped leather here is pretty nice evasion gear at this point in the game, so we end up avoiding quite a bit. We can actually go into our defensive tab here, just in the middle of the fight, because you notice our chance to evade is a whopping 49%, which is actually really high. So that's just based on the fact that we've been keeping our armor up to date. So I'm actually a fan of evasion right in the early game. This quiver here could be good for us, could be quite good. Oh, it is nice. I like it. Yes. Okay, so it's a high dex one, which is going to give us some more accuracy and a little bit more evasion at this point in the game. And it's got life on it, which is the primary thing there. Increased stun duration on enemies. Not a major one, but might help out a little bit. Now, thinking about links, I think we'll be okay for links. It's not too hard to get a two link item, and we don't really need links too much at the moment. So we're free to go ahead and waypoint now, but we will come back here once we get our quest reward, because we want to continue through the zone that we came from previously. So now we're going to go ahead and talk to Yina, and we'll grab the life belt. Now the amount of stats on these belts, this is plus 37 to life, is randomized. Kind of, sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you get unlucky. It looks like we got pretty lucky this time. 37 is very high, almost near max. Now you can grab a strength, or you can grab an energy shield belt if you're either a character that could benefit from either of those. But we're going to go ahead and grab life. In fact, I probably recommend every character grab life. Now we're out of wisdom scrolls. So let's see if we have anything that we can trade over wisdom scrolls. Transmutation is probably the cheapest currency we can trade for a wisdom scroll. I don't like trading those over too much. I prefer trading blacksmith whetstones if possible, but this is okay. We got strength, fire resist, lightning resist, and reflect. Not bad. I wish it had rolled more life, but having some extra resistances is going to help out. And we will just go ahead and sell this. We're not high enough level to use that greater life flask yet, but we will be able to soon. So we'll go ahead and get a little bit more, a few pieces of currency there, and we'll take our portal back to this zone. And it actually has a very conveniently placed exit here, which will actually just pop us up kind of in a random spot against this cliff here. There's no entrance to get back in there, it's kind of funny. But let's progress through. We can actually just keep heading north. You can see where we came from over there is up to the sort of northwest there. And we meet up with the road, so I'm actually going to head right here on the road, because the road kind of does this hook around at the top. Now these guys are these are Creighton scouts. They're kind of just bandits that are in all parts of this act really, and these ones I don't think do anything special. They just kind of just attack you with bows and melee weapons, clubs and things like that. Some of them later will do bleeds and poison arrows and things like that, which we do need to be a little bit cautious of. So now we're going to head into the crossroads, which will have a waypoint in it, so we want to grab that. And it is very appropriate to its name. It has massive set of crossroads, which we'll meet pretty soon. You just want to follow the road along in this zone, the easiest way. So we'll just go ahead and use our poison arrow to clear out these guys and continue on. We've got some, you can see some golems ready to animate there. So you can avoid those if you want to, if you don't want to kill those off. We're doing just fine for XP. We're level 17 and we're in a level 17 zone, so we don't need to be too thorough. And here's the waypoint. We want to make sure we touch that because we will be coming back here later. Now this ends our journey into the eastern side of this zone. We got the side quest and we got the waypoint. We're going to go back to town. We can probably kill that guy while we load. So now that we're back in town, we want to head out to the west side of the zone, to the riverways. Now, we just mentioned that zone we were in was a level 17 zone, so this one will be either 16 or 17 as well. So as you can see, if we had to spend a ton of time over on the east side doing stuff, and then coming back to a level 16 zone, we wouldn't really be, you know, benefiting too much from farming in here. It's just more efficient to do it this sort of way. So I got more of these guys. These guys resist chaos damage, but still takes them out pretty quickly. Again, you just don't want to get surrounded. Pretty basic mobs in here. I think we'll also encounter some snakes soon as well. We'll see what we find. Just paying attention. A bit of a tip whenever you're going through the game is to just test things. Test as many things as possible. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is your best weapon in this. Ooh, an iron will support gem. That's not going to be useful for us. But just test things. So like, okay, I don't know how hard these monkeys are going to hit, but I'm concerned that they might kill me off. So just test it off a little bit, you know? Like, okay, taking a few hits there, you know, they deal a little bit of damage. Probably not too much, but I suspect if there was a lot of them hitting me at once, it's going to be a bit of a danger, but not too bad. So if you encounter a new mob, we've got like some bandits here, just, you know, let one of these guys hit you and just see, okay, we don't take too much damage off these guys either. Now, this rare has an aura. He has increased critical strike chance, so these guys are actually a fair bit more dangerous. Like, on those initial hits, they're not going to hurt us too much, but if they do get a crit, they can do status ailments and things like that. And they'll just do extra damage in general. There's actually another one here with group frenzy charges. Group frenzy on death. So when he dies, he generates frenzy charges for everyone around him. So you'll notice this guy should have got an extra frenzy charge there. I'm not too sure if that worked for him. Might only work for the monkeys. We'll go ahead and kill this guy. We've got a Rancho Meltunic here, which we might be able to use. So let's go ahead and ID that. Kill off these monkeys. Nothing too good on there. It's better than our current chest though, and we can wear it. However, we do need links for poison arrow. I'm actually not too fussed about losing fork on my poison arrow, so I will go ahead and drop that. And we'll just trade out poison arrow for split arrow is probably the one I'm least likely to use, so I'll put that in there. And there we go. We've got a little bit more armor, and energy shield kind of works as an extra life buffer, so I'll go ahead and use that. Armor's nice and reliable as well, so we'll go ahead and use that. Just balancing our character out, trying to update our gear where we can. So for this zone, we're just going to pretty much continue straight through this zone. There is a quest that we will do later in here, but not at the moment. Don't need to worry about that at the moment. So you can see our AoE is a little bit less effective now, but it's not a huge deal. The poison cloud's still going to kill stuff off, so I'm going to make sure to kill off any rares and magical mobs that I encounter. And something I also wanted to try and remember myself, and to remind you guys, is next time we level up, we're going to be going back to town, because we want to check the vendors for chromatic items like we did before. You guys probably remember that earlier we managed to score a bit of currency from the vendor through arbitrage. We bought some stuff and sold it straight back to the vendor and made profit. We're going to try and do that every level, because each time you level, the vendors reset and you can check those items again. And sometimes when you get later in the game, you'll even find valuable items like 5 link chess pieces or 5 link two-handed axes and things like that. I actually found my first ever 5 link in Path of Exile through a vendor, which is pretty insane, because you spend all of it one transmutation orb for something that's worth many chaos. So a very valuable item, just for you know, taking the time to check those vendors. It's nice to do. Once we hit level 18, we'll be able to also use that extra life flask we picked up. So I'm just going to continue through this zone, nothing else to say here. You notice that when we came to a dead end where the bridge had been broken, we simply head along the creek. It'll either be left or right. You kind of don't know, you just have to kind of check. And you'll eventually come to these little rock crossings here. And then you just want to go straight back to the road. That's the easiest way to clear this zone. So I'll just continue doing that, and I'll see you guys in a moment. And we're about to the exit, but we should also be able to grab a level just before we do. There we go, nice stuff. So I'll just kill these guys off and run over to this exit. Just about a minute or so down the road, we just continue following the road. And we're getting closer to this thick skin node. Man, I'm excited to take that. 18% extra life is going to be a huge jump. We're going to go from like 530 to like 600 or 700, something pretty easy. Pretty nice stuff. So we're going to the Blackwood now. This zone's kind of a similar idea. You want to follow the road for a while, but things get a little bit scarier in here. Now, there's a bunch of different stuff in here. There's fire-breathing snakes, and there's, as you can see, here's one of those. Now, actually, this would be a good time to go back to town, kill off that one, and consider maybe updating our resists a little bit. So our current resistances are fire resist 36%. We're actually in really good shape, but we could also check the vendor. Now, we did want to check the vendors anyway, so we just leveled up. We want to get in the habit of doing that, and I want to remind myself, because I often tend to forget and miss out on a lot of free currency, essentially. So, just checking, here we go, we've got a chromatic item there. If I do miss any, I apologize. Sometimes I do. And we've got another one here, but however, we don't have any more Orb of Transmutation, so we're just going to have to let this one go, unfortunately. But we'll go ahead and trade these up. It's going to be worthwhile for the end game. And we also managed to get a new flask, so we can go ahead and just destroy this flask because it's not going to trade for anything. And we're going to check for any fire resist rings. There is one here. However, we actually can make one ourselves. Now, we're not going to use Iron Will. It's not a particularly valuable gem at all. So I'm going to go ahead and trade that with an Iron Ring for a resist ring. Only 23%. Not great. Not great. But we'll go ahead and grab that. Our life rings are getting a bit out of date anyway, so we can't roll that. I'm not going to spend an alchemy orb on a fire resist ring at this point. But we'll go ahead and trade this out. Now 25 life for 23 fire resist doesn't seem like a great trade, and losing life generally is pretty bad. But fire resist, 23 fire resist is going to make a huge difference against mobs that deal fire damage compared to this amount of life. So it's always good to prioritize resists when you know you're encountering some form of elemental damage. And in this zone, we're encountering a bit of fire damage. It's not a huge danger. Honestly, you can get through this zone without any fire resist. But it's a good idea to get in the mindset of preparing yourself for the challenges that face you in each zone. So we've also got these ones here. Some of them, not this one here. This one here. Okay, this one here does use puncture. We want to keep an eye out for that. So you notice I stopped because he did manage to puncture me. I'll try and keep my distance where I can, but you want to pay attention to your character and also to the top left of the screen, because if he punctures you, you'll start bleeding, and there'll also be an icon on the top left. Now we did manage to discover the waypoint, so we want to make sure we get that. We're going to come back here later for this side quest, but we're not going to do that yet. We're going to continue along the road. Well, what's left of the road. We kind of follow the road kind of points in a direction here. Now you'll notice we've actually encountered this sort of webbed area, and this is where the side quest will be later, but we're not going to go to the side quest just yet. Honestly, you probably can in normal, but in the later difficulties you don't want to go into these side quests at this point. And I want to continue through to Western Forest before we go ahead and do this side quest. It's the general route I take. Keep leveling our skill gems. So, aren't these guys scary? These are a new addition to the game. They kind of pop up and give you a good fright there. Not really dangerous in normal, as long as you have a bit of life. But these guys get very dangerous in later difficulties. So I'm just going to continue along through this zone, kind of following this gap through the trees in the direction that the road pointed. And we should eventually reach the exit. Ooh, this is actually a pretty dangerous collection of enemies here. This rare mob here has this purple aura is a slowing aura, as you can see. It's making it very hard to run away, and we've got this popping up devourer, which is actually a magical devourer. So we're taking a lot of damage at the moment. Even getting down to half life once there we did. So you want to be careful of this, and we want to kill off this slow aura. If possible, drag him away from the other mobs and try and deal with these guys without kiting them into more packs of mobs. Sometimes you want to kite back towards a safe zone. However, our new large flask here, our new greater life flask, making a big difference. I will grab that Scroll of Wisdom because we are a bit low on the old Scrolls of Wisdom at the moment. Ooh, what shrine do we have here? It looks like we have a Frost Nova shrine. So quite a large pack of mobs. These seem to be nice groupings of experience, so I'll go ahead and farm this shrine out. We'll just try and group these guys up and use our fire traps and poison arrows to burst them down, essentially. And looks like we've cleared it out. We'll go ahead and grab this for ourselves. Just running through, killing things automatically. Love it. I mean, I'm thoroughly enjoying this league, actually. Man, this is nice. I like the slowing ground effect. It's really cool. Ooh, a rare oiled vest. That actually could be very, very good for us. Here we go. Oh, yes! Legendary! 27 extra life, some life regen, which isn't too bad at the start of the game. 21 extra mana is going to help us out a lot, and extra evasion energy shield. A very nice chest piece. Goodbye, old chest piece. You will not be forgotten. But it looks like I'm having a bit of trouble finding the exit in this zone. I'm pretty sure since we've started heading north again, this is not actually the correct direction, but I'm just going to follow it around and go back down south. A little bit unlucky. Actually, we might have followed the road in the wrong direction, because we did go to the side quest area, which they're not usually in the same area. Oh, a new shrine! Haven't seen this one before. It's a Firestorm shrine. Awesome. So I'm going to try and grab this one for myself ASAP. Yeah, there we go. We've got a nice big life flask there. You can see how quickly that heals when I use it. Look at this Firestorm. This is so cool. I love it. Kill the Devourer, Firestorm. Thoroughly enjoying the new shrines. I hope these end up making their way into other leagues. This Devourer is really tough. Okay, there we go. Now, yeah, I'm going to try and find the exit. If you're not having much luck finding the exit, which I don't appear to be this time, sometimes you just get bad RNG on the map, the map layouts. You're just going to have to search out the zone. I suspect it's going to be off in this direction somewhere, so I'll try and see if I can find the exit. Ah, looks like we found it. So, I guess they've added in some more randomizations of this map. Randomations. It's actually appeared on the top side. I've never actually seen this door appear on the top side. But, you know, we found the road and it eventually led to it. Kind of just had to explore out for this one. Didn't get very lucky this time around. But let's head into the Western Forest now. So the Western Forest is reasonably dangerous. The fact that we got this fire ring is actually really good now. So if I didn't get a fire ring by the end of the last zone, I would go back and get one now. Because there's these mobs in here that kind of run up and deal a lot of fire damage to you, which I'm sure you'll see in a moment. We also have some bandits that use poison arrows. There's not too much we can do to mitigate it at the moment. We just have to make sure we don't stand in the poison arrow effect. See these purple guys? Check these guys out. Yeah, ouch. They explode on you. Now, they deal fire damage, so having that fire resist helped a lot. But you saw, even with my like 40-something% fire resist, they still did quite a bit of damage. Now, in this zone, we're just going to follow the road along. There is a side quest in this zone. There's two side quests in this zone, actually. Actually, there's one primary main quest and a side quest. We're going to do the side quest this time around, and we'll do the primary quest later on. I'll show you guys what I mean when we get there. But for now, I'm just going to kill this guy off and follow along the road until we reach a waypoint. Now, for these exploding mobs here, same as the squid in Act 1 actually, you can kind of touch them and run away and they'll explode without exploding on you. That's the easiest way to do it. Now, you don't get experience for doing this, so you can otherwise try and shoot them and kill them down. But if you just want to stay alive, now sort of forcing them to explode not on you is a good way of doing it. You see, I'm not taking any damage here because I managed to avoid all of the explosions. Now, do these guys... Yeah, you can see these guys fire the poison arrows. We're already firing poison arrows ourselves, so it's a bit hard to see the effect. But you kind of just want to keep moving to stay out of their poison clouds. So I'm just going to like circle kite around these guys to kill them off. It's a nice big pack. We use a fire trap to finish them off. And just finish off the stragglers with some poison arrows. Now, we should be getting pretty close to the waypoint now. Well, it looks like I missed the waypoint, unfortunately. I guess I was talking and wasn't paying attention, but it's back up here. So I'm just going to head back up and grab that. Make sure to touch the waypoints, don't forget, because we will want to come back here later. Okay, so after getting the waypoint, which I did just touch, we want to head back down the road, continuing along the road, essentially, actually. And we're eventually going to reach a barricade. Okay, there we go. We'll kill off these guys and we get our thick skin this level too. That's pretty exciting. So, yes, 18%, going from 555 to 615. Nice. Big jump of 50 HP. So, as you can see, kill the blackguards. We want to kill this guy. In fact, we only really want to kill the unique mob in here, which is just in there somewhere. I'll kill off his friends and then I'll show him to you guys. But he uses cleave and double strike and does a lot of melee physical damage to you. And it hits pretty hard, so as a melee character, you're kind of just going to have to take it easy, back off if you're taking too much damage. And as a ranged character, you just want to kite him to the best of your abilities. So, where did he go? He's kind of hiding in here. Captain Arteri. And you can see, uses cleave, uses double strike. Now I'll show this off once I get rid of his friends. Showing the damage just for you guys. I actually managed to get my way through the wall when he couldn't do that. Just kill off as many of his friends as possible. Now you can see he just used a big double strike on me there. You can see double strike does quite a bit of damage. Let's take a few of those while killing off his friends. So his normal hits still hurt a fair bit, but we'll wait for him to do a double strike. Come on, double strike us. Do it. Come on, show it. Show it. He's determined to just wail on us normally. Okay, whatever. So we'll go ahead and just keep kiting him until we kill him down. Using our quick to stay out of range of him. He's pretty fast. We can also kind of just kite him and use our fire traps is also a pretty nice way to do it. He has a fair bit of life, so I'll just take a moment to work him down. And there we go. As you can see, he dropped a quest item. We're just going to pick this up. And we're going to pop it in here for the next seal, which clears out, you'll notice, the spikes from earlier in the game. So from here, we'll just level up our bear trap. Head back to town. We did get a level, so we're going to check the vendors. And we're also going to go back to Act 1 to get our quest reward for this quest that we just finished. So, first things first, we'll check the vendors. Now, you can check both vendors, but I find it just, more time efficient to only check these ones. You're less likely to get the three different color chromatic items from the other one. No chromatic items this time from this guy. Also, I don't think there's any gear we really need to look out for ourselves. We're actually doing pretty good in terms of gear at the moment. So, just from, quest rewards and from finding a few nice drops. We will check Tarkley here. See if he's got any chromatic items. Oh, we might as well sell it. Sell a gear as well. Ooh, we don't have any currency to buy any chromatic items at the moment. So there is some in there, but oh well, we can't do it at the moment. Go ahead and sell that. And we'll talk to Bestill here. and he gives us a book. But this book, more importantly, gives us a passive skill point. So we're going to continue along over to the left here. We're probably going to grab some strength and int for a while leveling. This will help us with wearing any sort of gear that we find, which just makes it easy to gear up, and will also help us with using our skills a bit. So from there, we're pretty much done. This signifies the end of this video. We've done 2 sides of Act 2. We've essentially done what I like to call preparing Act 2 to continue. We get some good experience while doing this, and we get all of the waypoints we need to do all of the side quests and main story quests that we want to do pretty soon. So anyway, that's it for now. Until next time, I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.